Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining our Friday afternoon training session. Today, we're just going to be going through the new feature for the website galleries that we've recently released. So we'll be looking at our websites, and previously our galleries were only a single list of photos. So you couldn't group them in any way. You just upload all of your photos into one website or one web page, and that's how it would be presented to your clients. So today we'll show these new features on how to group these together into albums. And this is a pretty standard website here. I'm just looking at the Sunshine Coast site today, and I'm noticing that there is no gallery option here. So the first thing we need to do is just go into the admin panel and make sure we turn the gallery page on. All right, we shoot over to the admin. All right, we'll scroll down. You'll find the gallery is a default page in here. So when you find the gallery, we'll click on the edit button here, and we will enable that page and enable the menu link as well. So if they're turned off, you just switch those back on and then the menu will show up the top here again. All right, now we have gone through SEO before, so our website gallery will touch on SEO, but you may like to revisit some of our earlier videos about that because some of these need some attention just to help your SEO and your Google searches. All right, so we've got our gallery there. You'll notice the gallery menu option has turned back up here again. So we click on that. You can see there's nothing in this gallery at the moment. So hopefully we'll fix that in a moment. We'll go back to admin, find that gallery page again, and there's the edit album / gallery button. All right, so the first thing we need to do is create a new album. So we'll jump into here and we've got all these fields to fill out. So some of them are familiar, the meta title, meta description, again, for SEO purposes to help your web page rank in Google. Now in iGyro, this is the global documents, and under marketing, signage, graphics, photos, we have a lot of previously completed homes. So a lot of these come from our franchisees network. So as they're being completed, encourage you to get a professional photographer in there if you've got something we don't already have. All right, so I'll just pick one of these. I'm looking at one specifically for Sunshine Coast because I'm working on their site, and so they've got a house they completed in Kingfisher Drive. Now I'm going to use the low resolution just for speed today. So you can use those high res photos, but it'll take a lot longer to do the upload process. So I'm using the low res photos, and you can download all of these photos to your computer just to make it easy to drag and drop them to the website. So to do that, you just tick that box at the top left and it will tick all of those photos for you, and click on the green button and that will download them all. Once you've got the open link next to all of them, you know that they're downloaded, and you can click on that blue button just here. That will open the folder on your computer. Righty, now I will jump back to the website. All right, so we might call this. So again, if you're naming this album, you'd like to try and make it descriptive for SEO purposes, but also just to make it easy to digest when you're looking at it on the web page. So we might just call this a double story custom. So this is just the name of the album. The URL and the meta details is what is going to tell Google when people are searching how to find this page. So we might go a bit more descriptive here. Right, so again, if you can load this full of keywords that are relevant to your area, that's good practice. And the description, we can probably even go a little bit further, probably just expand on that title. Right, and the description is almost like when you're editing a web page normally in your admin panel. You can get a bit of content in there, and you can use some bold and italics if you'd like to as well. Now, all right, so that's given us an album. This image will come in automatically in just a moment once we upload the photo. Right, so go to edit photos now for that one. And we can drag and drop them in here. So you can click on select files and then try and locate your photos. Or what I prefer to do is just have your folder ready and drag and drop them into there. So I'll select all of those and drag and drop them on. All right, that's them uploaded. Now you can rearrange these as well. So if you click on some of these, some of the more boring photos you might like to try and move down. All right, make sure you've got a good cover image at the top there. So it should be a front elevation. I'm going to save that now. So when you save, that's saving any of the changes you've made to this grid here. So if you move photos up and down, you'll need to make sure you hit save. Shoot over to the gallery, and that's what we've just created there. So we've got a gallery for this double-story custom home. Click onto that one. This is what the gallery looks like. And here's the main text that we added. So what we're suggesting here is that you could start to describe this. You can talk about, we always talk about share the journey with your clients. So if you've got construction photos from start of slab down all the way through to completion, this would be a really good place to talk about the uniqueness of that home, the area that you're in, what challenges you've overcome, and load it up full of photos. So you could even do that progressively. So you could do a couple of stages, the slab down, once the roof's on, put a few more up, and start to build a bit of a story around this home that you're building. All right, so when the clients are viewing this, they can click onto the photos to get a larger image and just click back and forth to toggle through all those photos. All right, and this album as well is designed so they can take portrait photos as well as landscape as well. So if you find if you're uploading some portrait photos into here, it'll just try and best fit it. It'll give it that modern look, how it arranges these images in a way to make it still look uniform. All right, now we are still talking about SEO with this as well. So you're going to make sure you've got your title, which we've already done. So your title's up the top here. We've got a meta description, which is in the background that Google can read. We've got some nice headings here that are describing our content. The last step here is we'd also like to label some of these photos using alt tags. So we've touched on those before, and an alt tag is a way of describing a photo. If a web page for some reason loads and doesn't show the image, it can use the alt tag just to describe what should have been there in place. But it's also useful for Google to find it as well. So I've shared in Workplace recently is a very good example is this photo here on the Brisbane website. So it's using alt tags correctly here, and it's got a nice niche for 70s suburban renovation. So I've just typed 70s suburban renovation into Google, and you can see that not only do we have the web page listed here as #1, but also these images. So these first two actually belong to the Brisbane website. So Google's really starting to push this. The next evolution of Google is going more and more into image searching. So you'll notice all these buttons here, you can sort of click through to find more images. And Google's sort of pushing this as a way for people to search the web. So here's another one of ours just here. So moving forward into the future, this is going to be more and more commonplace. So best to start now putting alt tags on your images to start making use of that from the get-go. All right, we'll shoot back to the admin page and edit the gallery, and we'll edit the photos again. And to edit the alt tags for these photos, we double click one of these. All right, so we might just call that double story design. All right, so we double click that again, you'll see the alt tags in there. All right, so if you make any changes to the alt tags, make sure you hit the save button. All right, so again, we might do an ensuite, modern ensuite. So just describe that as best as you can. All right, we visit that gallery again. You'll see now that if you hover over here, we've got our alt tags that are describing these photos as well. All right, now, so we've got one photo album there. We can add as many as you like. So if we shoot back to admin, come into the gallery, edit the albums again, and create a new one. And it's a nice one here from Brisbane. So again, this is working on our theme of share the journey. I know this one has got some very early construction photos. So if we have a look at this one. Got the photos ready and I'll label this one. So right, so obviously you want to work on your meta titles as well. All right, there's our album. I'll edit the photos. I'll drag all these guys on. Okay, let's see how that turned out. All right, so we've got two albums there. Click onto that one, there's our photos. So as I was describing before, we've got some photos that are slightly different sizes. So we've got this sort of elongated photo here, which is fit in just nicely, and it just shuffles the photos around just to fit in like a jigsaw puzzle. Alrighty, I apologize. I've had some issues with the controls today. So if anyone does have a question, let me know. I'll see if I can allow you to talk there. Actually, Shane has got his hand up. Let's see if I can allow him to talk. Alrighty, Shane, are you able to talk there?
Can you hear me?
We can, yes.
Awesome. I was just going to ask, when you're populating that album, as you said, you potentially upload photos in bulk at key stages rather than, say, every day or two putting a photo in. You might get to slab down and then put in 15 or 20 photos. Is there a way to make the order function work, as in it defaults to the newest photo when you're uploading it? As in, what is the default sort order? If you're starting with a house as a concept, like a site photo, you put that up saying we're starting this soon, you come back a month later and you upload a bunch of photos, you've got to grab all of those photos and manually adjust their position to move them up so that they appear first. And presumably whatever photo you're showing, you want to be the most finished.
Yeah, I understand exactly what you're saying, and I've only just noticed this now. I haven't had a chance to resolve that, but you're exactly right. Your observation is correct, that at the moment it's randomly uploading those photos in no order. So I'd like to fix that so that it will upload in alphabetical order at least to start with.
Yeah, okay. But then as you add more of them, is it possible to make, as you add more photos, that those photos will appear in front of the preceding photos rather than appended to the rear?
Well, I mean, that's a possibility. We can look at some functionality to do it. Depends on which way you'd like to look at it, whether you'd like to see all the oldest one first, and as you scroll down, you head down to the point where you're getting newer.
But as you said, the hero image is the first image. Like that's what it's using for the hero, isn't it? Like is that what it's defaulting to? So
It
then
is,
you know
yeah.
you're not going to want a bunch of photos of dirt with grass and construction photos. You're going to want to see a finished house as your hero image.
That's right. And if you're starting at construction, you probably don't even have one, so it's probably not going
Yes.
to be much of an issue. But yes, I understand where you're coming from, and we can certainly work towards adding that sort of functionality in.
Cool.
Very good. All right, any other questions there? All righty, well, I think we've got that one covered. So thank you for attending, everyone, and we'll see you all again in a fortnight.